Excuse me, and welcome. I'm here to share my thoughts about Avatar, Fire and Ash. And it was fire and ass. I have kept up with the Avatar franchise. In fact, I believe I watched the original Avatar like the day it came out, or very close to the day it came out. I think it was like Christmas Day or like the day after or something like that. So correct me if I'm wrong about that being the first day. But I was super hyped on it. I was telling everybody, like, James Cameron is a genius of our time. He created new technology to create this movie, yada, yada, yada. Fun fact, his hometown is Chippewa, which is where my great aunt lived until her passing. Besides the point, I did watch the water one the many years after it came out, and I thought it was okay. Yeah, it was fun. So this third one actually looked more intriguing after I saw the trailer, not gonna lie. So coming from someone that kind of was a super fan, like literally made parody videos pretending to be a Navi, referencing Awa, writing, I think they're called Iklans. I do not remember, but literally using the vocabulary in my everyday life. But then it faded out. Watched the second one, thought it was okay. I'm not like a super fan now. But I wanted to give my thoughts. If you don't know, there's two other movies that they're coming out with after this Fire and Ash movie. So basically, the plot of this movie is very similar to the first and the second one. I mean, what are we expecting? Okay, if you expect a lot, I think you're gonna come in disappointed. Visually, it was stunning, but the story is like, I really am like, here, this is what you get. Okay, what you see, it is exactly what you're gonna get. You are not gonna be gagged, and you shouldn't expect to be gagged. Like, it is your fault if you expect to be gagged and you're not for this movie. We need to learn. This is a third time that this has happened. Okay, shame on you if you make the same mistake of expecting more. It is like when people review a dim sum restaurant and they're like, the staff was so rude. You're getting dim sum and it's 10 in the morning. Like, what are you expecting from this establishment? So I am going to have some spoilers, okay? I just want to put that out there. But I'm like, what? Who cares? I completely forgot. Oh, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. Okay, even for the second movie, I'm spoiling everything. Why are you watching this if you didn't even watch the second movie? Okay, so there it is. Going into the third movie, I completely forgot that like the brother died. Like, if I had to tell you, or if you were asking me about all the children, I wouldn't remember. I can't even remember the name of the kids now. There's Loak, the brother that's still alive, and then there's Kitty. Kitty, it sounds like Kitty or something. I looked at her and I was like, oh yeah, this is like the young Sigourney Weaver character. How did she come to be again? And thankfully they explained it in the third movie, but I had to think, did I not question this in the second movie? Like, who is this girl? How did she come to be? So again, I thought it was entertaining. I had a good time. It's like 3 hours long. I'm sitting through it. In fact, though I will say it felt a little ridiculous at times. It is the same storyline plot of like, here's the humans, they're the baddies. You're fighting like between the natural order of things, but like trying to break out. The kids have more of a central story, of course, in this, and somewhat the colonel, he takes more of a forward position in the plot point as well, which I thought was kind of interesting. And his character is very funny to me. Like, he's way more funny this time around. Like, they made him a little goofy, a little comic relief. And I almost had a problem with it because it was very repetitive. And it's kind of a pattern I saw throughout the whole movie, that there would be these serious moments and then it would be cut through with like this joke, or it almost felt a little misplaced. And I love laughing, but I did kind of go like, oh, it makes it feel a little lame. And I'm not having high expectations for this movie. So for example, like, when even at the end of the film, when Spider's around like all the spirits and he finally gets to like, connect with Awa and everybody and see the past people that had passed away, he was like, no shit, or something like that. And I was like, okay, are we making this movie for 12-year-old? Maybe, really, like, they might have been trying to make memes out of this thing. But I just don't think that that's gonna like really become popular if that's what they were trying to do. Or, for example, Kitty, when she connects with whatever the main baddie's name was, the woman who looked so sensual and amazing, by the way. Like, she looked good. And she was like overwhelmed by the power of Kitty, you know? She was like, bitch. And I was like, oh, that's Sigourney Weaver. Which she's a fabulous actress, you know, and I love that she takes part in these still. But I don't know. I'm just like, it's hard for me to imagine because I'm like, this is supposed to be a child, but there is like this voice of someone that is so familiar to me and everybody that we know is older and is playing the kid that that's a weird disconnect for me. Also, another disconnect, like, I'm just pointing out every moment in the film where I kind of like, it took me out. The main water tribe queen, oh yeah, she's Kate Winslet. I think that's just funny. I think I thought that was funny in the second movie as well. Like, you can tell from her face mole, I'm like, that's her. There she is. We're full of these like somewhat Polynesian looking characters, like this Polynesian inspired Avatar, like Na'vi clan. And it's Kate Winslet. So I just thought that was always really funny. Something that I didn't understand was that Jake Sully's character, like from every movie, it was a main point that like he was a little different from the regular humans because like he could see that there was more to this world and these people, and he's, you know, even willing up to give up his human life to become them, you know. And then yet in this third movie he's brought back to the beginning of being like, we can't trust AWOL with everything. Like, you know, what are we doing about the spiritual thing? And I do understand, like, hey, they lost a kid, so that probably is affecting them in a way. But the second he's back to talking, like he's with the humans and talking with the colonel, he flips. He's immediately on the other team going like, you don't understand. How can you be Na'vi and not see with your eyes? Open your eyes. There's so much more to this world than whatever, you know? So that's where I was like, okay, so now you can understand where Neytiri's coming from. Now you're back on team spiritual. Yeah, so that switch up I didn't quite get. It might have been him showing more growth and coming back to his roots again, but it just didn't translate as well for me in this film. Another point was the repetitive use of the Colonel and Jake's. I'm sorry, I keep saying the Colonel. I don't remember that guy's name. It's like Miles or something. I don't remember any of the names of these characters. But the Colonel and Jake, you know, they have their battle. They're duking it out always. But what do they have in common? Their love for Spider. Okay. And then whenever that love for Spider pulls through, they have this one-liner moment where it's like, well, what are we gonna do now? Braid each other's hair. Okay, they fight again. The love for Spider, like that commonality brings them back, like to stop fighting. And then it's like, well, this is awkward. What are we gonna do? Sing Kumbaya? Well, damn, are we gonna start holding hands now? Like, it's like that. So, like, again, the Colonel's like a comedic relief in a way that I don't think he was before. But again, like the same joke, like the same type of vibe again. Like, did they forget that they wrote that scene already and then they like rewrote it again? It seemed a little silly. It was very like Spider-Man versus Batman-esque, where it's like, oh my god, both our moms' names is Martha, but not as stupid. Like, that is actually so stupid. But it did give me a little bit of that. Like, okay, clearly there's some like potential for growth with the Colonel, and yet we dropped it again. We fumbled the bag again. And the other thing I didn't get is that Neytiri has like this hate for Spider, because I'm sure she like blames him for the death of her biological son, who, a side note, why does he have an accent and that is like, English is my second language, and yet Loak, the other brother, speaks like he's from like the city in America? Like, I just don't understand that. I think maybe it was explained in the second movie. Like, so sorry if I'm being stupid, but yeah, didn't understand that. So that was something that kind of bothered me. Going back though, so there's spider that Neytiri obviously disdains at this moment in time. She like sees the light later, which is beautiful, but why do they like Kitty so much? Because that's not their biological kid either. And yes, she didn't like cause the death of any of their biological children, but I kind of just like don't understand the crazy love. Is that bad for me to say? Like I just don't understand where that's coming from. Where that angle's coming from. I know Jake cherished Sigourney Weaver. Like that's like her baby technically mixed with Awa. So like I kind of understand Neytiri liking her. They probably did raise Kitty as a baby, but it did confuse me. And also their youngest child, I feel like that one was just kind of like left to the side. But maybe they'll play a more central or important role in the later movies. So yeah, who knows where this is going, to be honest. I didn't look anything up. I'm like, okay, we got the fire people, who, by the way, I thought their design was cool. And I thought they added a lot of like depth to the world, and it was nice. So I enjoyed this new thing. I also like the Sky Traders. I think that was a cool introduction, and I'm like, where the hell were these people? Why were they never mentioned in the first two movies? Because they were never thought of, probably, right? But yeah, I don't know where we're gonna go with the other ones. We got fire, we got the sky, we got the water people. Like, what other tribes are there? The earth and stone people, perhaps? The lightning types? Just trying to rack my brain as to the potential and what other options there even could be with this. But I will be watching the other movies because regardless of everything I'm saying, okay, I'm just really nitpicking everything. I had a good time, okay, at the end of the day. I also wish Neytiri had a more central role, like did a little something more badass. Like I know part of the issue is that she had to kind of like submit to the hierarchies and like not say anything against Jake. And I know she rescued him, so that was kind of badass, but I wish like she was the one that like saved the day at the end of the day. Like there's so much potential with her. She's so slick with it. She is a warrior, so I was like craving that the whole time. And I don't want it to be given it to her. I want it to be earned, but I was waiting for that. But this movie definitely felt more so like central to Kitty and somewhat Loak's story, so. And yet, with all that buildup, at the end of the day, all Kitty did was like summon the squids. I thought she was about to like connect with all nature at once or something, or do something a little more badass. I thought that's what was gonna happen. And then her instructions, like, I feel like she's like looking into the real meaning of things, and she notices stuff, and she wants to fulfill the will of Awa. Like, she's like the most spiritually in tuned, and yet the action she told when she had control and could talk to the squid people was kill them all. I was like, isn't this kind of like against the grand scheme of things? I don't know. Maybe I'm being like stupid about that. I did love that like she could control plants and stuff though. Like that's cool. So excited to see more of that. But of course, the colonel's probably still alive. Like we don't see him die. The lava, the fire girl, where we don't see her, so she's probably gonna come back too because she just like ran away basically. I don't know if I missed it, but I don't know what happened to the marine biologist that helped Jake escape, so interested to see where that goes. And yeah, I thought it was kind of stupid that Spider was able to grow that thing, the tendrils from his head. I was like, oh yeah, like it very much reads kind of like a fan fiction. This third movie feels like it was a fan fiction that was brought to life. So that's why it was kind of fun, because it was a little silly and a little stupid. Yeah, even with all of my criticisms, I had a good time. I think if you watch it, you'll have a good time, and you'll have a good time in the theater. I just really don't think you need to take it that seriously, or that you should take it seriously. It is a land in Disney World at the end of the day, and they had to come out with these movies. Otherwise, people were going to forget about Avatar, and like that's going to be such a waste of that land at Disney World. Like that's really, I feel like, the point of all of these movies. you have got to keep it relevant, or that whole land is like a waste, pretty much. And you got to like add more to it, I think. Like, they need to sell more merch and like have new things. And yeah, that's those are my thoughts on Avatar. I'm gonna watch Marty Supreme next week, so that's gonna be a very different experience, and maybe I'll do a review on it. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.